This is a full and complete list of 10 of pretty much undeniably the rarest cars in Forza Horizon 5, updated as of 2025. As you watch the video, check out until the very end as I'll be going over some pretty crazy cars, and of course comment down below how many of these cars, if any, on this list do you have. I know some of my more hardcore car collectors should have a few, if not most of these cars, but I imagine there might be a couple you're yet to get your hands on. Let's go ahead and get started and go straight to the festival to go ahead and discuss the number one car on this list. Now of course there will be a bit of disputes as to what you guys think are going to be the rarest, because to some degree they are still largely subjective. However, the number one car on this list is going to of course be the AMC Javelin. This car is ultra difficult to get. It's not something you can simply find on the auto show. If you go and head to the car collection and you find this car, you guys can see of course you cannot buy with credits. And even if you guys go in and try to find this car via the auction house, it's still going to be very, very difficult to obtain based on the fact that not too many of these are ever listed. And even if you do see one pop up, it's usually going to be going for 20 million credits and won't necessarily be something that would be profitable to go in and snipe. The second car on the list is going to of course be the Ford 1946 Super Station Wagon. So as you guys go in and see the Super Deluxe Station Wagon all the way to the right, quite a few Ford cars you guys can see I have on this account. The Super Deluxe Station Wagon, a very low-key car, definitely a sleeper. If you saw one of these in your garages, you wouldn't exactly think it's one of the rarest cars in the entirety of Forza Horizon 5, but it is very difficult to obtain. Same kind of story. You very rarely ever see these on the auction house, and those that do have these, honestly, I think a lot of the cars of these in circulation are randomly in people's garages, and they don't even know they have them. They might have got it from a wheel spin or a Festival Players Challenge a while ago, and they don't even really truly know how rare it is. So an insane sleeper car, not one that many people would often expect is as rare as it really is. Now the third car on this list is of course going to be the Ferrari 2014 California T. This is a similar story, not a very crazy Ferrari. I mean, it's a pretty regular Ferrari in the overall lineup. In real life, it's quite a common car in general, but that's not the case in Forza. I believe it's only been added once to the game in a prior Horizon Festival Playlist series, and since then, very, very difficult to be able to get these. We can go in and check the auction house right now, and you guys will see there probably won't be any of these actually listed, I can almost guarantee it. And if there is, I might have to go in and give it a quick go to try and go ahead and snipe it and add another one to my collection, but unsurprisingly, none of these as well. Now another Ferrari that's pretty rare, not quite as rare, but definitely very difficult to get your hands on, and probably a more newer and desirable one, is of course even the Ferrari F8 Tributo. This car is ultra rare. It's quite significantly rarer than the SF90 Stradale. They were both added to the game at similar periods of time. The difference with the F8 is that it's been added to the game less time since then. The SF90 has been added to the game probably 3 times in total, in different events or different time periods via Horizon Festival Players series. However, this car I believe has only been added once, maybe twice. The SF90 has been added to the game 1 or 2 more times, giving a lot more people more chances of going to get their hands on it, meaning it's going to be less rare overall, but still a very rare car in general. Next up is going to be the Honda NSX-R GT, the 5th car on this list. This one used to be the rarest car in the game. However, it was actually added a second time to the game, so it's not quite as rare as it once was, but it's definitely still in this top 10 list. My only point is it would be higher on the list if it wasn't added that second time. This car is pretty cool. It's got a lot of upgrade potential. It's still a bit of a sleeper in nature because it's not like I really think it's super rare, and especially with how many Honda cars there are in the game, people often forget how rare some of them really are. Again, none of these in the auction house have got no filters on, and you simply can't find them. Pretty insane car if you guys have one or multiple of these in your collection. Definitely one I can say to hold on to go ahead and complete your car collection. You guys can see if you've got a car collection, I've got every single car in the game, and you guys can even see on my car the license plate if you're curious on how exactly that kind of is. But let's go on and get to the 6th car on the list here, which of course is going to be the Pontiac GTO Judge 1969. This car is pretty crazy. Again, most of the rarest cars in the game really are not ones you really expect are super rare. These cars, a lot of these Pontiacs are very rare, and I'll get to that as the video commences, but pretty much the GTO 1969 Judge, ultra rare car, very difficult to get. Most people who commented on my last top 10 rarest car video mentioned how they had a lot of the cars on the list, but they didn't quite have this one. I've actually added this to the list, but this car is pretty cool. You see the headlights, how they go like that. It's definitely one that's pretty unique, and I'll go ahead and show you guys just for reference on the auction house to see. Maybe there's 1 or 2 popping up right now, but again, I'll very, very highly doubt it. The 1969 Judge, any of these available? Let's go ahead and see. Again, none. If I go back to Pontiac, there's actually a second car that makes this list, and there could arguably even be 3, but I've only kept it at 2 for now. And the other Pontiac in the question is going to, of course, be the Firebird 1968. So you guys can see this one is pretty crazy. Now there are actually quite a few of these, but it's a Firebird over here that's pretty much the rarest out of all of them. Very insane car, again, pretty cool. In my opinion, I like the Judge a little bit more, but again, Firebird definitely still a very good contender. Now, the 8th car on this skill list is actually going to go ahead and be the Lincoln 1968 Continental, 1962 Continental. This car, kind of a similar sort of vibe to the Pontiacs, an older, sort of more classic car, one that's still very, very difficult to obtain with the suicide doors. Pretty cool little feature there. And these ones are also virtually never seen on the auction house. Pretty much very, very difficult to get most of these cars unless you guys just get lucky on a wheel spin, or maybe they're added back through the Horizon Backstage Pass, which will be inevitable for some of these cars. That's often Forza's way of redistributing some of these amongst the community, given once you guys kind of miss them, you pretty much have no way of ever getting them again unless you just literally get lucky by the auction house. So the second last video on this, or the car on this list, is going to be the Sierra Cars 700R. This one, hardly even a car, more of a buggy, very, very difficult to get. This has pretty much always been quite a stable or evergreen car on my list because it's going to continually be very rare, very difficult to obtain, and that's for a good reason. Pretty cool car, definitely one that's very unique in a game like Forza, but the final car I'll be showing in this video is quite a unique car as well, the Mini Cooper 1965 Forza Edition. This car is in fact entirely electric. Pretty funny given the fact it's quite contrary to the fact it's 1965, but again, it's a Forza Edition car, definitely the rarest Forza Edition car in the game. Those who often have the full Forza Edition lists or collections can pretty much never boast that they have this one in their collection because it is so difficult to obtain. Unfortunately, it hasn't really got too crazy of a Forza Edition perk. It would be cool if they made it something super exclusive, like maybe 3x credits on events, but definitely still one to brag if you guys have one of these in your collection, and a very unique car in itself. So like I said, comment down below how many of these cars you have and other cars you think should be added to this list next time around. Like and subscribe for more, and go ahead and stay tuned for further Forza videos.